Welcome back to Iron Rage, the show where usually John Romano, Lee Priest, and I bitch and complain, but today we have a special guest in studio, Denise Masino, the one and only.
Good to see you.
I'm so shocked. You know, I mentioned that you were going to be on the show last week, and a lot of people contacted me, and they were like surprised. They didn't know you were from around this area.
Dude, I was getting text messages from friends.
Oh,
they were like, "You're with Dave." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, what the hell? How did you know that?
Denise is originally from, the Fort Myers area, and you moved to California when you got remarried, and so now you still come home because you have a house here, right?
This is home.
Right.
This is home for
right.
me.
Okay.
Brooklyn was the original home. This is home.
So you're from New York
and I go back and
went
forth.
to Florida, and I did the same thing, basically.
Exactly.
Just many, many years later. Now we have Lee Priest on the line also, who's in the UK now. He just got out of Body Power this past weekend. You're like a world traveler, Lee. I can't even believe it. You went from going nowhere to now you're traveling nonstop.
And I hate it too. I'm a homebody. I like to stay at home with my cat. I don't like to travel too much.
One of our fans, Lee, actually told me that they heard that you were banned from going to other countries. I said, well, that's unusual. He's been to 4 countries in the last 2 weeks.
How can I be banned to go to any country? I was even in the United States, not for the Arnold Classic, wasn't I? So.
Yeah, that's what I said. I can't imagine.
Fancied out a rumor about me in this sport. That's amazing.
It is.
That could be a good topic, actually, for the show. But today's topic is going to be about people who ask for advice who don't listen to it. And we have a million, I'm sure, Lee, you get a million emails. I know, Denise, you get a million emails. How do I lose the fat on my ass? How do I get abs? And you give advice over and over and no one listens. Denise, why do you think it is that these people can't listen to the, advice that they're given?
I think, it's the people who, it's friends, it's family members, it's people that are closest to me who I care deeply for.
But they're wasting your time.
Who know they need to make a change, and every time they see me, it's the same exact questions. And it's hard to be patient with them. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, you don't want my advice, you're not gonna take it, so just change the subject, because it is annoying. But I think that motivation for people is elusive. I think people want results, but maybe they just don't want to do the work, is really what it is.
Lee, do you find that unless you charge someone for the advice, that they just won't listen to it? That's what I find. Anytime I help friends that I do it for free, they never listen to me and they never get the results they want.
Yeah. Exactly. You've got to make them pay the full amount up front, because I've charged people half the price, and I say, give me the other half when you finish, when you see the results, and halfway through they just go, I decided I'm not going to do it anymore. They're going to stick to it. They just want to get it cheaper. But it's true. People ask the same questions because I just don't think really they've got an answer already in their head that they want to hear. And when it's not that answer, they just keep asking other people. Like people come and ask me in the gym a question, either it's about training, dieting, and then I'll go see them ask another personal trainer, and they just keep asking until they get the answer they really want. And like Denise says, people don't want to hear the hard work. They don't want to know it takes months or years or something else to do something. They want to know that it's overnight or in a week.
Now, Lee, if you get someone who asks you to help them with a diet and they're not losing weight, and you know probably that they're cheating on their diet, what do you tell them?
Fuck off.
I knew I was going to say something.
But it's true though, because like I said, we've been doing this long enough. Just by cleaning up your diet in a week or two, you drop weight just from fluid, just by getting rid of processed foods, going to clean food. You're going to drop a couple of kilos in water weight. So I've given the diets to people where they say they're training, dieting, doing the cardio. A month later, they're the exact same weight, if not fatter. But if they went to these new so-called new PTs, they would actually tell them you have lost weight, but what's happened, you've actually lost fat but gained muscle. That's why your weight is exactly the same. That's the new line you give to people these days.
Denise, what do you think about these people that go for these body fat analysis tests? You know that they're 30% body fat, and they're going and they're giving you these readouts from these DEXA scans. I'm like, use the mirror. I mean, are people just obsessed with numbers nowadays?
Well, they are. They want to be able to quantify results. I think that's why the scale is always, the thing that people go to. Yeah. They don't even look at the clothes that they're wearing, which is a much better indicator, right?
Absolutely.
And I tell people that forget about the scale and just focus on how, the pants fit. And they look at you and they nod. But people want instant gratification and they want feedback. I think feedback is the most important thing. I think people feel like I want to be able to go into the gym and work hard, and I want to know that something happened, that it was worth my time, effort, energy to do that. And they're not patient. They don't want to wait for results. They want immediate gratification is the world we live in.
But they also don't want to suffer. They're like, oh, well, I heard that so-and-so says you could eat Pop-Tarts as long as you don't eat over 20 grams a day of Pop-Tarts. I mean, what do you say to these people? These people are out of their freaking minds.
Well, but the other thing is that, there's so much marketing, right? Because there's so much money in weight loss, right? Let's forget about the bodybuilding community for right this moment, because bodybuilders are more specifically interested in building muscle, and bodybuilders are really determined, focused people. They kind of know what they're after. They know the look they want, and so they're more focused than the average person. But with weight loss, there's so many products out there because industry knows that it is a multi-billion-dollar business and that it's not going to go away. And so they're going to tell the customer exactly what they want to hear. And the customer who's gone from, fad 1 to fad, 20 and has spent money and not getting the results that they wanted over the course of 20, 30 years continues to buy new products.
Because they don't want to do, like Lee said, they don't want to suffer. Lee, when you have someone come to you and say, and you give them a diet, and then they're like complaining, oh, I'm going to lose muscle on this diet. What do you tell them? That drives me crazy when people say that.
They've generally got no muscle to start with, so that's ruled that one out. So normally, like I said, they're going to go in there, they're going to look for every excuse. I'm going to lose muscle. I'm going to have no energy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to not have this. So, like I said, humans are going to look for the easiest way every time. They don't want to know it's hard work. Just like I said, someone's going to eat all the food they want. 15, 20 years of putting the fat on, and yet they want to lose it in a week. It's just not going to happen. You've got to get the metabolism going. You've got to get into, once you've been dieting long enough, when you've diet a day, sometimes it takes a long time to get going, but once it gets going, the metabolism kicks in, it does slowly come off, and then it will slow down again. And sometimes when it slows down, people are like, I stopped, I'm not losing weight. Then they get pissed off and start eating again. People generally don't even give a diet enough time. I know men, women that go on a diet after 2 or 3 weeks, nothing's happening, so they just crash the diet and don't even worry about it anymore. So, like I said, everyone's after a quick fix. That's why those infomercials about these weight loss things where buy this pill, buy this piece of machinery, as dumb as we know they are, they're still making millions and millions of dollars because people sit at home and go, oh, wow, look at that. 2 minutes a day, 3 days a week, and I can lose weight. Wow, I'm going to buy that. And people are buying them. So we're in the wrong business.
Denise, what do you say when you give someone a diet and then they're complaining about, oh, I'm hungry, I don't feel good, I have a headache, a million and one excuses. And these people paid you, and they're dedicated to doing the thing, but they're just everything. They complain, I'm going to lose muscle, I'm going to do this. No one wants to suffer. How do you get people mentally through that step? Or do you just say to them, sometimes I just say to them, I don't think you're ready for this, and I don't even want to help them anymore sometimes. Right. Most of the people I work with are really good, but occasionally I get the 1 or 2 people that are just real pain in the necks, or they eat too much of the food you're giving them, and you ask them, hey, are you cheating? And they're like, no, I'm eating exactly what you told me. Meanwhile, they're eating 12 ounces of protein per meal instead of 4,
Right. It's a frustration for me to deal with people who, they can't be honest with themselves. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to be honest with anybody else. Right. And, a lie never becomes the truth, no matter what. And so that's the kind of shit I throw out to them. I'm like, look, work always pays off. Mm-hmm. Work always shows. We live in an instant gratification world, okay? You want everything now, but you know that that's not realistic. And the shit is that people will nod. They'll nod in agreement. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, I get it. You're right, I can do this. And then you see that melt away. And it is very, very frustrating. So it's something I think about. It's like, okay, how do I get through to the people that I want to help? Because I do want to help people. The people look at me and they right away, they want to ask questions. And I'm like, okay, I really want to help you.
Well, the reason why they're looking at you is because you look good. And the reason you look good is because you're willing to make those sacrifices. I mean, if I help a girl who I tell her to take a tablespoon of peanut butter with a whey protein shake, and they scoop the whole jar out on the spoon, and they're like, well, that's a tablespoon. Right. I don't know why I'm not losing weight, Right. I want to go crazy. Lee, what do you tell people like that? Fuck off.
I don't know. Generally, I don't really say much. I just keep my mouth shut for a little while and just watch them and say, well, stick to it. I'll change their diet a little bit, change up their foods. But after a while, I generally just give up with them. I say, look, you're wasting my time and yours, because if you're not going to stick to it, and if that's, your job as a personal trainer, getting people in shape, people are going to go, oh, look, there's Lee, or there's Dave, or there's Denise training this person. She's either looking worse or getting fatter, so that's your reputation on the line if they don't want to stick to it. So if they're not going to commit to it, I just won't waste my time, because that's what you're really doing. It's wasting your time and theirs. I've given diets to some women that say, yeah, I'm following it, but then you come to find out on weekends they're drinking bottles of wine, eating chips, and, they're like, oh, no, I'm always too busy, I'm doing cardio. I got kids, I never sit down, I'm always chasing the kids around, and I'm doing, it's like, well, if you're doing that much exercise, you should be losing some bloody weight.
Right.
So, but
Yeah.
you know when they're lying, so it's just like one of those things. After a while, I say, you know what, this ain't working out, just do what you got to do. So,
Denise, what about the people, and that there's a lot of, it's not just women, it's guys that do this too. They think that if they can eat extra food if they do extra cardio. So you get these people, you got them on 45 minutes of cardio a day, and they're doing 2 hours, but they're eating like 2 extra meals, and they're gaining weight, because the cardio just doesn't burn that extra food off.
Yeah.
You can't do enough cardio to get rid of the meals.
Yeah.
And it becomes this vicious cycle.
Well, who the hell wants to do that much cardio, though? I mean, that's a lonely place to be.
People will rationalize it,
Right. Well, I've known competitors who, because they want to have their wine, you just mentioned wine, I think.
Yeah.
Because they want to have their wine, or they won't give up their M&Ms or whatever, and they're even pre-contest. They've told me these stories. They're like, I'll do another round of cardio. I'll do the work.
Yeah.
And I kind of have respect. I have respect for that person.
But it never works. You get caught in this vicious cycle where you're just eating
Right.
more than you're actually exercising off.
Right.
And I tell people right off the bat, I said, the reason why there's champions out there and there's people who are not champions is because the champions are willing to suffer and give up those foods and not fool themselves by have people think like, oh, he's not going to know. What does the trainer care? Lee's not going to lose any sleep. I'm not going to lose it. You're not going to lose any sleep at night if someone cheats on their diet. They're the ones who are suffering.
But then, as a trainer, and I mean, you prep people for years and years and years, and you're well known for that and successful, and you know your stuff. What about the client that doesn't do what they're supposed to do, right? Doesn't follow to the letter, and you're the scapegoat. And I think Lee mentioned that.
That happens all the time. They love to blame the trainer, right, Lee?
The trainer.
It's Lee's fault. Lee told me gave me a bad diet, Lee won't tell me the secrets with the drugs to use to lose the weight. I asked him about DNP, and Lee said he never used it. I don't believe it.
No, you sound like Boston Lloyd talking to me now. I've never used DNP. That's the thing. I am one of those people that.
No, most people haven't, Lee. But people will think that there's a secret. They don't want to believe that it's suffering. People would see me get bulked up in the off season and go, "Well, how does Lee lose that much weight?" Because I'd go on my diet, suffer. I'd eat super clean, but because I had all that extra time, I didn't mind doing cardio. So on top of my 2 hours of training twice a day, I would do 2 to 3 hours of cardio a day because I had a stepper and I had a treadmill in front of the TV. And the most I lost was 75 pounds in 12 weeks, but it didn't bother me because I enjoyed doing the work. And like Denise said before, nothing's ever going to beat hard work. I've known athletes that wouldn't do cardio, they just take more clenbuterol, take more growth hormone. And when they step on stage, yes, you can see they're in good condition, but they're not as good or ripped or that hard grainy look as the guys or women that have busted their ass putting in the hard work. So there's no substitute for hard work. There's no way around it. So, but yet people are always going to put an easy way out. I don't even know people that to lose weight, they'll even skip meals. Well, I'll skip a meal and hope to lose the weight quicker, but we all know you start eating less, the body just shuts down and you won't lose weight at all. So. Right. People used to ask me, how did Ronnie Coleman eat the whole jar of barbecue sauce, Masterpiece barbecue sauce, and look so good for the Olympia? I said, the guy did 3 hours of cardio. He probably didn't need to do any cardio if he would have not eaten it. So, but he was willing to do the work. That's really what it amounts to, right?
Yeah, I was always, like I said, I don't really enjoy cardio, but like I said, I didn't really go out much. So if I was to eat a meal and then I was sitting home watching TV, I'd be like, well, if I'm watching a 2 hour movie, I'd just jump on the treadmill for another 45 minutes and sit in front of the TV. So it didn't bother me.
How much cardio did you do, Denise, when you would compete? Because you always got very, very lean.
On average, I did 2 rounds. I did about 45 minutes early in the morning and then another 45 minutes late at night. And if I was behind, I would add an additional 30 minutes somewhere.
So you weren't afraid to do over 2 hours of cardio?
No, because I think everybody has whatever it is on that's the outside that's motivating you, whether that's another athlete, somebody you're going to compete against.
It's addicting too. It does. It's almost like a high doing the cardio too.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to find ways to entertain yourself. Like for some people, music, podcasts, books. I needed to entertain myself when I was doing cardio.
So to get to your topic, you originally wanted to do this for the show that Lee and I wouldn't let you do. Motivation. How do you motivate people who maybe are not motivated to do the right thing and lose the weight?
Well, so that's the question, right?
Right.
That's
because we don't want to just say F off. We want to be able to give them the motivation to do
I
what they
show them
want.
my six pack.
So you just motivate them your body.
I show them my driver's license, and I tell them I just turned fucking 50 years old. Okay.
Me too. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I do. And really, the six pack works a lot.
Yeah.
Because everybody's very focused. The universal symbol for strength is the bicep, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. I don't care where you're from around the world. You may or may not agree with me on this. And the universal symbol for being in shape is a six pack.
Lee, let me see a six pack. Let's see that six pack. You showed us the other day. Show
There's
it to Denise.
There's a photo online.
Denise wants needs some motivation.
I'm laying down.
What happened to it? You had a six pack 2 weeks ago.
I know, and I'm still 105 kilos being fat as I am, so.
You're just laying down like a lazy sack of crap because you want to go to sleep.
I haven't trained. My excuse is I haven't trained for the last 5 days.
Yeah. Lee, how do you motivate people? Let's face it, you tell some people to F off, but you don't tell all of them. How would you motivate people? How would you get a guy who's less than motivated or a woman that's less than motivated to want to lose the weight?
So everyone's different, so I don't know, depending on that person and what they're doing or what motivates them. Normally if someone comes to you, you sort of have a bit of background on them, so whether they're doing it for their children or so they can go play with their kids, or someone's doing it just to live longer, or someone's had an operation that they're trying to get over and stuff like that. Like everyone has some sort of reason why they want to do it, so whether it's just to be healthier themselves or, someone might even be just a lady who wants to lose some weight for her wedding. So everyone's got that different motivation behind them, so it's just trying to tap into that and, Right. Or I just say to them, look at your mother, she died from obesity, you can die like her, you fat bitch, and fuck off. So that really gets them going.
I try to find something good about the person, something that shows that they have like some great quality, and I try to exploit that and say, hey, look at how good your shape is, or look at how pretty your face is, or look at what the structure of your body, look how much muscle you have if you only lost the weight. And that kind of sometimes motivates people rather than try to find all the negative.
You're saying lie to them.
Oh, you got you're using the flossers too. Is that a flosser, Lee?
No, it's actually.
I thought it was a flosser. I thought you were going to floss your teeth.
So he said you lie to them.
I don't lie to them. I think everyone has good in them. You got to just find it. A lot of people have a lot of bad. I look for the good.
You've got a beautiful face. Yeah, that's one of the worst things you can say to an obese lady. Oh, it might be a little bit but you got a pretty face. There's a lot of
negativity
from up high, just a face picture. Don't show the body.
That's right. Well, you know what? I've gotten people in shape that I would be afraid to show people their bodies, but they lost 100 pounds, so they still look way better than they did. But I wouldn't be showing their abs off to anyone because they got loose skin and stuff like that. But if you could show the face got different and they have cheekbones now instead of a big fat round face, that is motivation.
Yeah. And how you feel too, because how you look is connected to how you feel.
Blood work improvements too.
Right. You know what? I try that with people that are really close to me, family members who I'm concerned for their long-term health and mobility and all that kind of stuff. And I've sat down with people that are very close to me who had blood work when they, before they started working out, and then did blood work after they'd been in the gym for like 6 weeks, and the differences are phenomenal. And I'm like, okay, tell me what happened from here to here. That's when I started working out. Okay, so tell me well, that's when I increased to 2 days. And I'm like, oh my God, the numbers don't lie. So, here's a way to quantify, right? But getting those numbers and getting to that place feels like a really long road for people.
You know what, though? I've told people this before, and it's true. I've said to people, you know what? I'm looking at your blood work. I'm looking at your physique. I'm seeing, some of these diagnostic tests you have. You're going to die. You're going to shorten your life. Your blood sugar levels are crazy. They shouldn't be high in the morning like that. Your blood pressure's high. Your cholesterol's up. You're going to die. Do you want to die or do you want to live? You get to choose. And if you choose life, then here, I can give you the answers. If you choose death, then you're on your own. And that's all you can really do. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make a drink.
And sadly, still some people, like you said, will not choose to do the exercise because they find that too hard. It's like I said, anything. We know all the dangers of smoking and cigarettes and cancers and stuff, and you still know people that smoke packets and packets of cigarettes a day now, and it could shorten their life. It could kill them, sadly. So, like I said, things will. I've known people who will, like you say, the thing about death that they say, no, it won't happen to me, won't happen to me. Then a week later, a couple of months later, they do have a heart attack and bang, all of a sudden their life is changed, and then they do decide to go on the diet. So sometimes it does take something drastic to happen before people will change their life.
Unfortunately, it is, yeah. My friend Brian Hoydick, we're wishing him the best recovery. He had 2 blockages, and he had a heart attack just recently. He had a double blockage in his coronary arteries. And I told him to go for a cardiac CT like about 6 months ago when I did my big rant after Dallas McCarver died, and he never did it. And if he would have done it, they would have caught that. So luckily nothing happened serious to him, and he'll be okay. But I mean, there's ways to you got to take action in life, and I think if people don't take action and they make excuses and they don't listen to the people who are giving them the advice, then the repercussions are the only person they can really blame is themselves.
Yeah, you know what's interesting though. I think one of the biggest motivators in life is fear, right? So unfortunately, right? And so, and people use that. People use fear to motivate people's actions, etc. So we know that, right? So understanding that. So you're talking about, look, you're going to die. Yeah. You're on this path and what have you. But the other side of that, I think, is that sometimes people are so afraid of failing at trying something, like even a workout routine or a new diet or whatever, that they don't do it because they're afraid of fucking failing.
Well, they like the fear that they know, which is doing nothing.
Right. So they're petrified and they do nothing. So that's another interesting part of how people operate.
And I think too, even from back in the old days, as soon as you mentioned the word diet, that puts fear in people. Rather than to me now, it's just like. I just tell people, it's pretty much just clean eating. You can just change your eating, eat cleaner, pick better foods. Don't call it a diet even, because once people hear diet, they get all these things in their head, I can't have this, I can't have that. And there's so many diets out there that are available to people, so many different foods now that you can eat clean and can diet, and it tastes good and it is good. So it's like back in the old days. I remember when I first started dieting for a contest, that was tuna out of a tin, plain rice, because I thought this is what you had to do. Plain egg whites, like I tortured myself dieting. And then the more you did, the more you learn. Hey, I can have a bit of this, I can have a bit of that and still lose weight eating clean. So I think sometimes when people hear that word diet, it sends all those horrible thoughts through their head and they just don't want to do it.
Do you think, Lee, that you're so successful in everything you do, you put your mind to, because you really don't, I don't think you have fear. You almost like to jump at fear and almost embrace it, because I mean, you got in a race car. You never really raced cars, and you became a proficient race car driver. Most people would be petrified to do that. I mean, you were a great bodybuilder. I mean, you weren't afraid to do that. Seems like you're not really afraid to do anything.
I think we all have fear, but it's one of those things. To me, like fear is like anything. It's your mind more than anything. It's your mind that creates more than that fear. It's like today, how I said, we went to that castle. We went down to the dungeons and stuff, and part of that's like one of those things where it just goes dark and people jump out of you. It didn't bother me, but my friend Darren, he's shitting himself because he's got one of those minds where fear of the unknown. There could be nothing there, but you're thinking what's going to be there. You're thinking about what could happen. It's like anything. Some people don't like flying because they think, the plane's going to crash, or this is going to happen, that's going to happen. It's like you create the fear in your head. It's like all these scenarios that you come up with. That's where the real fear comes from. It's like you. It's like you just have to, get over it or don't think about it. But everyone's got fear. I think, a little bit of fear is a healthy thing.
Yeah, but you were a 19-year-old kid from Australia, came over and you were, you got a pro card and you're competing with the pro. I mean, that's got to be terrifying. And you were just like, no, I'm going to move to Venice and I'm going to be a bodybuilder.
Well, actually, I was only coming for 2 weeks, which turned into 18 years. But so I didn't really even have fear about it because I wasn't even thinking of becoming a pro bodybuilder. I was just coming to do the amateur show, and it's just one of those things. When I got into bodybuilding, I never wanted to be a pro bodybuilder. I just wanted to look like He-Man. And when I got to the car racing before I won the championship, I just did that because I wanted to go on the track and drive the cars fast. It wasn't something that I thought about doing. I just enjoyed doing it. So, but I have fear. I haven't done skydiving yet, but that'd probably give me a fear. So
I don't like heights too. No skydiving.
And I don't recommend all the problems Callum has. I don't reckon He-Man go do it either.
Yeah, don't
so-
go rappelling off any cliffs anytime
Oh my
soon.
God.
You'll not a good scenario when you're a
Yeah.
bodybuilder.
Too much muscle.
Yeah. When you weigh 300 pounds, it's probably not a good idea to jump off the side of a cliff
Right.
holding onto a rope. In your
You're,
hand,
you're
you know?
gonna jump. You're gonna drop a lot faster.
I think Wile E. Coyote proved that wasn't a reasonable thing to do, right? In the Roadrunner cartoons.
Who's gonna say who's that?
But he survived all the time.
Well, Lee, we're going to let you get back to sleep. I know you're over there in the UK. It's very late over there. Thanks for joining us. And Denise, of course, thanks for coming
Thank
into the
you.
studio. I hear you're going to be here in the Cape Coral, Fort Myers area for the next couple of weeks, huh?
Yeah, why?
So we may have to get you back next week because John Romano couldn't make it this week. So I know he wants to see you next week. But
yeah,
next week we have to
John.
have a very negative. We have to have a real bitch and complain type of
Oh, really?
topic.
You
Yeah,
gotta-
So I'm
because
gonna get pissed off first.
you gotta-
Lee,
you
thank
gotta
you for your
rage.
patience. Yeah.
You got to rage, Denise.
you have to rage.
I have to rage. Okay, let me.
Luckily, Lee was tired today, so it was a good topic for him.
But
you
you
know?
see, this, I go into
you
the
probably
gym.
you probably have to time the next show with a period or something. I don't know. It's the only time women rage. They take a
There you
period
go.
off her.
There you go. Well, guys, wasn't much raging, but the truth of the matter is that if you want to accomplish anything in life, if you want to lose body fat, you want to put muscle on, you got to be willing to do the work. And if you don't do the work, you'll never accomplish anything. And those are my words for the day. On that note, I'm Dave Palumbo with Denise Masino in studio, Lee Priest in the UK, and Tyler Shore behind the director's desk for another episode of Iron Rage.